I'm Greg Austin. Haven't lived around these parts for a little while, so I figured I better introduce myself. I would like to start by saying Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Donna Austin. She is as much the reason that we're all here as Dad was, and this is about celebrating Mom as well. But thank you all for being here today, and in true Austin tradition, I will begin with a poem that I wrote for my dad. You graduated on a snowy day. All of us were there to pray. Morning sun through the window bay, with everyone gathered round. There in perfect peace you lay, no more troubles here to pay, nothing we could unsay. I was lost, but now I'm found. We had hoped for some leeway, while autumn leaves fell on the pathway. My troubles, they all rolled away, walking that hallowed ground. This is the end of mortal clay. Down this final cliff belay, you never did anything halfway. One last trip through Cross Sound. Death is a part of life, they say, but for us there is no dismay. Heaven gains a saint today, where peace and joy abound. At milestones in our lives, Dad would write us poems. This was a tradition in his family, and he made it ours. When I moved away from home, he wrote a poem for me called Gregory Grew Greatly at Game Creek. Did you know this Renaissance man, frontier woodsman, craftsman, mechanic, fisherman, music, artist, poet? My dad was. How do you separate the man from the myth and the legend? He is one and the same. I never heard anyone speak ill of my dad, ever. Abe Lincoln made famous the words, "You can't please all of the people all of the time." But Dad seemed to make this ability his life's work. My dad did it. Dad taught us to be fearless. In my 50 years of knowing Dad, I never saw him back off from a challenge. I never saw him throw up his hands and quit. I never heard him swear. He had a quiet confidence that anything could be done. Having the courage to leave a comfortable life in Massachusetts, move a family with 5 young children, and drive 4,000 miles across Canada to an unknown Alaskan frontier? Who does that? My dad did. Who was this beatnik rock climber from Norton, Massachusetts, spending his summers in the Rocky Mountains? My dad did. Who was this master sawyer who traveled across the country to build sawmills? My dad did. Who was this tuxedoed professional musician who heard a call to move to the Alaskan wilderness? My dad did. Who was this fisherman who created jobs and supported his family by learning new trades? My dad did. Who was this wordsmith so fond of his Latin? Repetitio est mater studiorum, he would always say. Repetition is the mother of learning. Or from the famous Suzuki music teaching method, Dr. Suzuki says, don't you be lazy, but practice and practice until you go crazy. I bet a few of you have heard that one. But he taught us it was easier to work on interpretation and feeling once the music was memorized. My dad did. Who was this giving father who spent every penny he had for his children to be musically educated? My dad did. Dad sure enjoyed his music jokes, and so in honor, I'm just going to share a few of his favorites. So what's the difference between an oboe and a bassoon? Why, the bassoon burns longer. What's the difference between a saxophone and a chainsaw? Vibrato. What's the difference between a viola and an onion? Nobody cries when you cut up a viola. What do a viola and a lawsuit have in common? Everyone is so relieved when the case is closed. And I think this was his favorite. What's the definition of a string quartet? Okay, so you have a good violinist, you have a bad violinist, you have someone who used to be a violinist, and someone who hates violinists. That's about as off-color as his jokes would get. Who was the servant who faithfully supported the fishermen in the communities of Game Creek and Hoona with the outpost at Tideland Tackle? My dad did. Who was this hero of the Christian faith who led his family and his community with his actions and represented the hands and feet of Jesus every day? My dad was. Who was this devoted husband who modeled love and servant leadership through his marriage to Mom? My dad was. When we were young, Dad taught us how to find the star Betelgeuse in the constellation Orion, the hunter. This helped to find Orion's head, which points to Polaris, the North Star. He taught us how the Big Dipper stars also point to Polaris, so you can always find your way. Dad truly followed his North Star his whole life and never lost his direction. My dad lived it. A heartfelt thank you from the Austin family to all of you who have gathered to show your love and support for David Austin. Until we meet again, Dad.